Hello and good afternoon to our audience. In a country where 70% of all travel bookings are done online and we have a digital population of 624 million, the importance of travel marketing has never been more important. To discuss it today, we have with us Manan from Ixigo, who's the VP Growth. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. I'm Manan. I am Group VP Growth at Ixigo.
And we also have Saurav, who's the CEO of Travel Buddy, a new travel startup.
Hello everyone, very nice to be here.
So I just wanted to start with a short introduction, a little bit about your brand and the journey that it's taken. So I'll first start with you, Manan.
Sure. So Ixigo started more than 16 years ago as a meta search engine. So a meta search is nothing but it helps you compare airfares across different sites. So you had Make My Trip and all the other sites out there. So instead of going to 5 different websites to compare airfares, you could just go to Ixigo, find out the lowest airfare and book from that site. And but we realized that we were not really doing justice to the whole customer experience, because once the user has gone out of your funnel to the other brand that was offering the cheapest fare, you don't really have any control of the entire user journey or any further experience, right? And so we then launched our own, we became a full-fledged OTA and we launched bookings on our own site and we stopped being a meta. At the same time, there was this whole app revolution happening, right? Geo had given cheap data and we were seeing tremendous uplift, and that's where we started with an app on the Trains app side which would automatically scrape your SMS, and if you had any active PNRs, as soon as you open the app it will let you know the status of that PNR. Right?
It's amazing, actually.
Yeah, and that was like a wow moment. The app went viral. Like people would just open the app and it will tell you whether your ticket is waitlisted or confirmed, right? And we saw tremendous traction. And the first 2-3 years, there was no monetization. Like it was just completely viral growth, organic growth that we were seeing. And then we introduced train bookings on that app as well. And obviously flight, train, and then bus bookings came. And we have now, if I talk about the journey across segments, we are, after IRCTC, we sell the most train tickets in the country right now. Like 1 in 10 tickets every day are sold by the Ixigo group. And and we have just launched hotels this month. So yeah, we're just getting started.
Can you tell us a little bit, Saurav, about your journey?
Sure, good afternoon everyone. So Travel Buddy is a social travel network and a travel experiences marketplace. A very interesting story for us how we started. I was just telling Arati also. We started in Jan 2020 and we had no clue that what was coming in March 2020, right? So our story can be told as, facing adversity, from there finding opportunity. So it's been a very interesting 3 years. Before starting Travel Buddy, I was in travel sector for more than 12 years. I was at Clear Trip, and after that I was with Meta, where I worked with Manan also. I think 2 insights helped form Travel Buddy. I think one was that there was clearly a need of travelers to connect with like-minded other travelers. Not everyone in your friend circle necessarily wants to go on trip. And the second thing was that the tremendous influx of content creators and travel influencers, there was a need to create some kind of a community and a marketplace. It's been interesting 3-year ride for us. Today we stand at 3 million travelers in the community, 75 to 80% from India. We have 250 plus authentic local travel experiences given by influencers. So we are not getting into what Manan and the others are doing so beautifully. We are building a separate niche of authentic travel experiences.
I think both your journeys for both your companies are fabulous. Now coming to the topic at hand, how important do you think, especially between the journey pre-COVID and post-COVID, is choosing the right media mix?
Yeah, so I think at Ixigo, we always had that mindset of growing sustainably, right? Like growth at no cost was not really an option. So
you've had a lot of viral campaigns.
Yeah, exactly. So
I'm sure all of you know that.
So we've always relied on a lot more organic growth versus paid growth, right? And when I talk organic, it's one from all the videos that have gone viral, right? Like we have a kick-ass in-house team that does all those videos, whether it's Chandrayaan or things you can take from hotels, right? Like the video actually aired on TV, like news channels started covering that video. So one is that. Secondly, we have focused a lot on SEO and ASO because those two things give you a lot of long-term benefit. So if you right now today also search for IRCTC, after IRCTC's app, you will find Ixigo app. And same on web, you will find that IRCTC after website, you see the Ixigo website. Right? So we get a lot of organic traffic and discovery from that. And third, then obviously there's paid because search, like travel, is a very high intent driven, right? And for that, you need to be there when people are searching. And they're in market for travel. So if you're looking for Delhi to Bombay flights and you go to a Google search, then it's imperative that you be there so that people at least experience you and your whole booking funnel for the first time. And that's our end goal, that via all these mediums, we are able to acquire a lot more new users. And once the users, and then it's all about product, because we are focused on solving each and every customer pain point in the whole journey. So it's not just about booking tickets. So think about, let's say you have booked a flight ticket, we'll send you a reminder to book an airport cab a few hours before, right? And we have tied up with few cab providers. Then we'll also send you a notification telling you about that exact boarding gate, that, okay, this is your boarding gate at so-and-so terminal. And once the flight is landed, we'll also tell you about the baggage belt. So it's figuring out that entire user journey. And that is where the product-led retention automatically kicks in, right? Because whatever users you are acquiring, if the NPS of those products is good and users are liking that, then you automatically start growing, right? So, and I think pre-COVID versus post-COVID, I think on the paid side, we have definitely ramped up as the volumes have grown. Like if I talk about our revenues right now versus pre-COVID, we are at 6x, right? In just last 3 years. So the spends have obviously grown in that range. Yeah, and lastly, we have focused a lot more on the performance side rather than the brand side. We have done brand campaigns here and there, a little bit of TV. We did a celeb campaign last year. So OND is the peak festive season. We just did Asia Cup on-ground sponsorship last month. So we have done brand campaigns, but the core remains performance.
That's actually quite interesting. For you, as a startup, how are you dealing with, since your focus is slightly different?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when I was in my earlier avatar in corporate, I used to run multi-million dollar campaigns, right? But when you start a startup, marketing is actually not at the same level of investment as product and technology, right? So at the end of the day, you have to be super frugal, and especially post-COVID. We started in 2020, 2021, 2022. We know that there was big COVID period then. So we have a set strategy on our marketing. We typically do a full funnel marketing. But what we do in that full funnel is for our community. So we have a community of 3 million travelers, right? Not every traveler is active on the app and the web. So you can divide it into 3 parts, right? You can say people who have left you and not come to the app. You call it resurrection. There are people, who might have used you, in the last 90 days, but haven't taken any action. That's called reactivation. And then there is the whole lower funnel, which is cohort based, right? If you have maybe clicked on a button, but not taken an action. So we use marketing automation. We use MoEngage. So we use MoEngage very, very actively to, convert the down the funnel person with a coupon saying that here, buy the subscription or, buy this experience. However, when it comes to, brand building, now that's a big challenge for a startup like us, right? How much do you spend? I mean, my classic thing that I say is that all the Facebooks and Google, and I'm an ex-Facebook myself, is like ex-Meta myself, is like an ocean. You can keep spending, and there's no end to it. So I think what we have done there is we have very smartly played with WhatsApp, conversational commerce there. So we don't do any paid marketing for new users. We actually use WhatsApp, conversational commerce, social media channels, and set up, automated answers and APIs on that to actually do that completely, non-paid. And along with that, SEO and ASO play a big role. For example, 70% of our 3 million downloads have come purely from the Play Store, searches itself. And that's a very, very big number to have. So we focused on our ASO rather than focusing on, doing install campaigns to get people, because that would have spent a lot of money. What we spend on paid is basically in our full funnel for the community. And that's how we look at our marketing.
That was actually my next question, because with the rise of mobile phones and apps, how are you focusing on
Well, if I just add to that, I think,
smartphone usage?
yeah, so I think, for example, take an acquisition channel, which is Instagram. So some people might say that we are a social travel network, Instagram is a competition. I would say no, Instagram is probably one of the most important acquisition channels for us, right? So there are all the influencers sitting there. So we just go there and find out the influencers, who are giving great travel content and go and, bring them to our platform. So with the rise of the mobile phone, and I think travel has also grown credit to a lot of Instagram and the social media platforms, right? People always want to take a reel wherever they go. So that is one of the tricks that we have learned along the way, that don't just blindly spend money, because ultimately travel is very omni-channel. That's another problem. So let me give an example. If you book a travel to Dubai, as per Amadeus, there are 36 to 37 touch points you go to, before you actually convert. So there's a whole lot of, omni-channel play that happens. And that's why, we are very clear to stay off paid there and use the social channels.
What about you? How do you feel about smartphone usage, and how have you, starting of course with the fact that your PNR was picked up? I think that was the most brilliant thing that your company's done. But
Yeah, and we actually made like 5 different apps at that point in time to figure out what's the use case that people would really like, right? Like there was an app for cabs, there was an app for planning your trip, and a lot of stuff, right? But I think we realized much before that app is going to be huge, right? And that's why we started working on the app in like 2013 was when we launched the whole app thing. And right now, if I talk about on train side, 98% of our transactions happen on app. And
wow.
on flight side, it's closer to 85% that happen on app, right? So it's primarily app is, we are sort of like a app first company, so to say, right? Like we started off with a website,
Yeah.
but now majority of our transactions actually happen on the app.
Wow.
If I just may add here to Manan, we have our experiences marketplace, and I was just looking at Razorpay yesterday. 96% of the conversions we have, bookings we have got, have come from mobile devices.
Wow. Okay.
So, India is primarily a
Mobile
mobile
first.
and app first market. I mean, this is very clear.
And to and to keep an app and retain, make sure users retain it on their phone is very difficult. So
That's super difficult,
they don't.
unless you are larger players like Ixigo.
Yeah. How do you keep them engaged, and like how do you like?
Yeah. So for us, the heart and soul of everything is the community. We have three things that we do in Travel Buddy, and I will urge everyone to also download us and check us out. There are three things that we do. One is icebreakers. So community icebreakers is the top funnel where we call people. These are mostly free. So we have a chapter head concept. So every city has a chapter head, like a Bangalore or a Hyderabad, and below the chapter heads there are local influencers. We actually verify them manually with their PAN cards and Aadhaar cards. So these people actually get together 50, 60 people in a park or something, and that's from where the whole, people start coming in, because it's very difficult to just acquire via paid channels. So that's our strategy everywhere. So obviously, we also have a hybrid product, because we know that people might remove the app from their phone because of space not being there, which is a very, very big problem in India, and 4 or 5 apps will take the share of voice. So if they don't want to use us as an app, we have a web
Website.
product which they can go and check.
Yeah, so at Ixigo, like I mentioned, right, we focus on solving the customer pain points that are there. And just to give you some examples, when COVID happened and when the airlines, again, like the whole travel resumed, there was a lot of ambiguity with respect to travel restrictions, right? Every state had their own restrictions and they used to change daily. And that is when we actually launched a free cancellation product on the flight side, that you pay a small premium, let's say 500 rupees more while booking a ticket. But if you cancel your ticket as late as 24 hours before departure, we give you a full refund back, right? And the typical flight cancellation charges are in the range of 3,000 to 3,500 odd rupees, right? So that's a value add, and it's like a no questions asked instant refund that you get directly back. Right? So that's just one value add. Second, on the app side, we have launched a lot of features which help the user not just for booking tickets, but even post journey, right? So if you book a flight ticket, we'll automatically send you a boarding pass. You don't have to go to the web check-in and do the web check-in on the airline side. So these are small things, but these are like things which sort of differentiate you from the other providers out there, and if you are able to give that wow experience to your customers, right? I think that's the retention automatically happens.
So I don't know about our audience, but I think I'm switching to Ixigo very fast. So coming to social media, it's actually now one of the most important mediums and channels for spending and as a media mix. What are the channels that you prefer and how does it work for you?
So at Ixigo, so from a performance side, we run campaigns across whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Insta Reels, right? And the whole algo works is it's able to figure out users who are actually looking for travel and who are travelers, and is able to show our ads there and get us more flight bookers or train bookers or bus bookers from there. Right? That is just from the performance standpoint. On the branding side, we do frequent tie-ups with various influencers who have a decent following to generate travel content, right? Like we did tie up with an influencer called Gaurav to cover a train journey, right, throughout India. So it's about creating that content and then just getting that distribution with the help of influencers and just engaging with your audience, right? You can't really judge these things from an ROI lens because this is more from your efforts to just consistently build your brand and reach out to more and more audience. So yeah, I think social media definitely, given the amount of reach and the time spent in the country, by everyone, right? And all those users are the ones that we are targeting, whether it's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. It's a channel that you have to basically spend on.
You are doing mainly consumer-led and influencer-led
Right.
campaigns. So how does, for you, what is your number one choice for
Yeah, I
social?
think first and foremost, social media is, while when we look at social media, we look at Instagram, we look at Twitter, but actually I would say that social media is a summation of all social media that you take. There are a lot of other smaller social media players also, so we use Hootsuite as a SaaS tool, and important thing is also to have a similar kind of a theme. So it's very important for us. So right now, for example, our focus on all social media is telling people about our authentic experiences. We always say authentic experiences from authentic locals. So that's our identity. The second identity that we have is community. So that should come out of the social media pages. Secondly, because if we are a small team, we have to use technology, SaaS platforms, right? So as I said, Hootsuite is helping us, sending it to 15 social media channels at the same time with a similar kind of a theme. So that's one part of having a very clear social media strategy. Second thing, there is also collaborations. Collaborations are super important, like Manan said, ours is at a smaller scale, but what we do is we don't advertise at our end about an experience. We tell the influencer to do a paid collaboration or a collaboration with us using branded content. So that really works because an influencer is telling about a place and it's in partnership with TravelBuddy. So that's a branded content of Instagram that really helps, and of other social sites. On a paid side of social media, obviously the two biggies are, your Facebook and Google. There we are very clear in using automated app ads or advanced ads, that you have of Facebook right now, and universal app ads of Google. The reason being that, they are machine learning led. So you just put a bunch of creatives, there, and then the system will automatically optimize and, reach out to your audience and give you downloads and, conversions at much cheaper rate. So purely these are the two strategies, and in between we also try to use other things. Yeah.
And can you give us some successful content marketing strategies that have resonated with your travelers and influenced their, like, just some examples?
Amitabh, I would say it's more from the videos that have gone viral, right? Whenever a video goes viral, we start seeing that small uplift in our direct and organic traffic and organic installs, because, and the biggest channel for us becomes WhatsApp, which you can't track. But we suddenly, like the video will start coming back to me around with my family groups, my friend groups and everyone, right? Whenever that video goes viral. So like just recently we had that Chandrayaan video. Now that video we actually did when the first Mars mission happened. So it was Mangalyaan at that time, and we sort of repurposed that for the Chandrayaan launch, and then it again went viral. And when it landed, then again it automatically went viral. So effectively, it's basically creating content that resonates with the customers. And if the customer likes that content, then they automatically share it with their friends, their family, and then and the brand becomes known, right? And then people have that curiosity. Even if you have not heard of Ixigo, you will just go on Google and search ki, "Acha, what is Ixigo," right? So I think that has really what's worked for us over the years.
I just would like to give a parallel example here for Travel Buddy because for us the problem was even more, right? I mean, we were a new brand, nobody knew us, so and creating viral videos will also need us to make a lot of content, pay videographers and all. So we figured out through an insight. So we have a feature on our app which is called as Find a Buddy. So you can find a buddy, female can find a female friend, a male can find a male friend, or you can look for any gender and you can find a person traveling to Ladakh in the month of November. That's our proprietary algorithm. From there, and how does this come to content strategy? So interesting. From there, we used one meme, and that meme was basically, I think Hera Fairy or something was there where it says ki paisa bachega. And that paisa bachega was put into saying that find travel buddies, get together in a group and save your cost. That really worked for us. And today what we have done, we have now built multiple memes. Memes have worked really well for us. So what we have seen, even when you go to the insights in the Instagram and social media, these memes have far, far more views compared to the other static content we put. Obviously they're easier to make also. You don't have to make videos and all. So that has been one content strategy that I like to say that has worked very well for us. Even for the India-Pakistan match, we are doing a small meme, and we'll continue keep doing that. So that's one of the points.
We look forward to that one. So, what are the KPIs that you focus on? Because it can be very vast and it can be.
Yeah, so there's obviously a macro view, right? Like how many bookings are you doing across flights, buses, trains, and hotels on a daily basis. Then there are further dimensions to that across platforms, web app, flights app, train app. Then on the performance side, you have your KPIs as to how many users you are acquiring from each and every channel or each and every campaign that you are spending on across. And there are multiple channels that you spend, right? Across Google, Facebook, Apple, Bing, Twitter, Snapchat. So and then if you go deep and then you can then we look at the cohorts for these users. What is the repeat rates, a 3-month repeat rate or a 6-month repeat rate, and hence what is the lifetime value that I'm acquiring of a user that I'm acquiring from each and every channel, and basis that we decide as to which channels should we spend more on and which channels should we spend less on. And then on the flight side, there's a lot of discounting that typically happens, right? There are bank offers, there are your own platform discounts. So you look at how much discounts are you giving away as a percentage of revenue? Is there a way to sort of optimize that? And then obviously the last bit is how much contribution margin at the end of the day are you making, because that's the bottom line. And everything sort of culminates to finally that number, right? So yeah, broadly, this is what we look at.
So for us, see, I think as a startup, most important thing for us is D1 retention, D7 retention, D28 retention. That's the most important part, right? Because if we have users, we have to retain them. So we look at the benchmarks that are there, and based on that benchmarks of retention, we try to keep that or exceed that. And that's our main key metric that we look at. Now, I can say CPI, right, cost per install, but we all know that in India, it's not necessarily people uninstall you because you're not a good product. Sometimes it's also what I don't have space in my phone, right? So probably it has to be something more. So for our experiences product, it's CAC purely, right? It has to be cost of acquiring a customer. But for the other part of the community, I think retention and time spent play a very, very important role. So if I am increasing my spends, and getting more people, is my retention improving? What is happening to it? If it is decreasing, then should I use another channel? Should I use another strategy? We are also using agile marketing a lot, which is test and learn, because as a small company, that's the biggest advantage. Just keep experimenting stuff, learning from it. If it doesn't work, shelve it. If it works, continue with it.
That's good. That's actually good to know, because my next question is, what advice would you give smaller startup companies or other travel companies? What would.
Yeah, I would say figure out the customer pain points Like, what are you trying to solve, right? Is there like, for example, Saurav has found their niche in travel experiences. So what is it that you're trying to solve? And then just go deep into that and talk to customers. That's where you get the golden learning as to what are the problems they are facing, and then figure out how you can solve them, give them a value add. And once you have sort of found your product market fit, right, like okay, on the initial sample size, you have figured that, okay, this is working, people are liking the product, and that's when you sort of step up the gas on advertising across paid mediums and scaling up. But even when scaling up, always be conscious. Don't just start spending and growing at not thinking about other costs, right? Grow sustainably, figure out your overall unit economics. If it's making sense, is the other retention metrics looking good or not? And yeah, I think then once you have figured that out, it should be a good path from that forward.
Yeah, three things from my side, listen to your users, pivot fast, and don't give up. So I think one example here would be, I was talking to Manan before this, that we pivoted ourselves. We started as a social travel network purely. There was no marketplace. And then we had subscription platform. We still have the subscription platform today. But we soon realized that subscription in India obviously will grow, with Kuku FM and various examples. But we knew that that cannot be the only, revenue channel. So we definitely understood from the users also there's a requirement, but we pivoted fast. So once you have figured out that there is a pivot required, get the team together, talk to the CTO, talk to the CPO, and just quickly do it. And yeah, I mean, my only point of view in the last 3 years journey as an entrepreneur will be there will be ups and downs. So just don't give up, and things will happen.
Very true. Um, just a little bit about the new technologies that are now coming up between AI and VR. What do you feel? How much opportunity is available there?
I think AI, there's tremendous opportunity, and we have in fact just last month launched a product called Plan, right? And it's basically a very sophisticated layer on top of ChatGPT, where you just go to ixigo.com/plan, and let's say you search, give me a 7-day itinerary for Europe, let's say Switzerland and Paris, and I'm traveling with a 5-year-old, for example, right? Now, it will customize the whole itinerary, give you a day-wise plan, and it will go to the depth of telling you that, okay, if you're visiting Eiffel Tower on day 1, here are the restaurant that you can actually go ahead and lunch, and this is how it's like highly rated, and this is the dish that you can order there, which is the most ordered dish for that particular restaurant, right? So with the power of AI, we can actually give such detailed itineraries to our users, and because travel planning in itself is a very cumbersome task, right? If we are able to help our users do that, and then obviously then pivot them and help them in booking all their tickets and all. But the first step, if you're planning any trip, is to figure out like where do you want to go and what will you do there, right, on a day-to-day basis. So that is where we are really utilizing the power of AI, and we are soon going to launch it on WhatsApp. So you don't have to open the Ixigo app or website. You just message Plan on Ixigo, and you can ask your questions directly to us, and you will get the itineraries on WhatsApp directly. You can even just leave a voice note there, and we'll reply back with the itineraries and anything that you want to know, right? So.
Well, that's great. Sounds great.
So for us, it's a little more challenging because we have limited teams, but there is no denying the fact that you cannot go forward without investing in generative AI and AI. So one of the things that happened with us is recently we were part of the AppScale Academy, which was Google and the government of India. And thanks to that, we got a large amount of cloud credits and AI credits. And now we are seriously looking, we have a lot of content on our platform. We have more than 1.5 million plus posts. Forget the number of photos, right? One post will have like 5 or 10 photos. So imagine there will be 10 million photographs and content. So what we are thinking of is, build some kind of a chatbot in the future, which will be able to, like you don't even have to come to Travel Buddy app. You can actually sit on that chatbot and you can say that, hey, I want to go to Udaipur. We have, posts, we have influencers, we have experiences, and we also have, forums and everything, right? So can we curate that and send it to you via a chatbot, in customized itineraries, and can we do it in local languages? That's something that is a vision that we have. Hopefully we are moving towards, and we'll plan to do it in the future.
Sounds amazing. Sounds really good. What next for the travel industry? That's like my final question now.
Yeah, I think it's sort of similar, like I mentioned, the AI aspect, right? I think we'll continue to figure out the pain points and solve for that. The plan thing is helping on the pre-booking side. Then booking is obviously, we have launched our suits, and the next thing that we will be launching in future would be our holidays and packages, because a lot of users out there just don't want any hassle, right? Like I just want to go to here, just take me there, manage everything for me, right? So that's another thing that we would be launching in near future. And yeah, I think, and travel is booming like anything. All the pent up demand that was there in COVID, right? That has not really still met, right? It continues to grow on the domestic and international side. We are already way above the pre-COVID levels, and there are pockets even on the luxury side that are seeing a very very high demand. So yeah, I think it's all onwards and upwards for travel from here.
What's next in travel is a vertical social network like Travel Buddy.
Really good. Thank you so much for this discussion. It's been very insightful, and I hope the audience enjoyed it.
Thank you so much to all the speakers. It was indeed an enlightening session. We would request you to just come together for a group picture. Before we